Happy to hump day to everybody. And happy holiday to everybody in the Lafayette office in Rega. So, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, planet Earth. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's go over to the chat line right there as we open that up. And let's see what we are doing today. I can see. Whoop, let's get rid of this. There we go. All right, nobody on there yet, so that's cool. We're holding on. You know, it's got a few watchers here. Hey, AR, how are you? Hey, dude, what's happening? Yo, dude. Dude, it's Adele. Was it Dell? Was it Dell? Yeah, it was dude. It was Adele. That's what it was. All right. Let's see what we're doing here. A dude, I guess that's an old cowboy term too, really. I am fine. Excellent. 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 It's a big holiday in Rega and Lafayette there. They're doing their thing. I hope it's nice weather for barbecues and relaxation and so forth. And we're here doing the webinar. So I don't know if we're going to see too many people from the Dukascopy Swiss world, but we'll see. Let's take a look what we got here to start off with. Oh, I was looking at Turkish lira. I was just wondering what was going on there. Let's start off with the Swiss. Let's see how the Swiss is doing today and get a flavor of what the dollar is doing, because that's how we look at the dollar anymore. We start off with the Swiss and try to get a flavor of the action. And let's put it in right there. And remember, AR, you can ask any question you want. You know, we've got plenty of opportunity to answer them, and we can take a look at things. Oh, I'm always busy. I'm always dancing. We're always dancing. That's what trading's all about. And for us rocket scientist traders, it's even worse. Saw a really interesting article, I guess it was last night, where Renaissance and ES Sigma or something like that, they really took it on the chins. Really starting to wonder what's going on there, where they're willing to take so much risk. I guess they're making so much money, they're willing to take on more risk. But you know, the markets are a challenge. They always are. Our math seems to keep us relatively safe. We have a good. Oh, speaking of which, let's put the fact check spreadsheet up. There it is, right there. We've had a couple of things going a little weird lately, but nothing major. You know, same old, I would say. I would like to invest in GBP. Well, let's take a look at that. I don't know if it's invest. You know, I think in trading, you know, invest would mean like, to me, investing means like you're putting your money into something that's going to generate income. And I think that when you're trading currencies, it's more like appreciation. Now, I guess if you bought GBP and then you went to the exchequer, or you bought into England and you bought bonds, I guess that would be investing, the bonds themselves. I really never really think about currencies as an investment. It's just a vehicle. And when you put your money into it, you're looking for appreciation. I see. For 1 week, is it possible for 1 week? Well, anything's possible. You know, possibilities are abound. So let's dissect that idea. Let's take it apart. Let's go to the cable to start off with. First of all, just say this. You can see the dollar is basically flat to down a little bit there. All right, now let's go over to cable and let's take a look at what you're suggesting. All right, now you can see here we've been in a weekly buy, you know, for what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full weeks. You can see it's climbing aggressively now, like this action here. I guess you could say now you can see the same thing occurred here when it gets through the zero line. See right here, you know, where we have the buy signal. When you get into daily buys and a weekly buy coming from the zero side of this line here, let's put that line in there too. We're going to make the zero line more emphasized, like that. Matter of fact, we could probably do something like make it black even, like that. Okay. See, when you're breaking through there, and you got the daily joining in, there's a very high percentage of about 8.5 out of 10 you're going to be right, and you're going to make money. And so that fits that possibility question you got there. So what you really want is you want to initiate towards the beginning of one of those moves. Now, you see, here's a good example on our math. You see here we're coming in a daily sell. You see the pressure comes on. It goes into the weekly buy right in here. But you see, you don't get the daily buy. You don't get a daily buy until you get the warning sign here, and the next day you get that nice big instant gratification out of it. And the signal, when watching our work live, you could have been buying at the opening area in here because it's above the close of the green and red dot day there. Okay, let's just emphasize that even more. Okay, so you know you're in a weekly buy. A couple days go by, you get a volatility signal. It says, okay, you're waiting for the next bar to open. It opens, and you can be buying in here, and the next thing you know, it explodes from the 130s to the 132 throughout the whole day. Okay. Now, I don't look at that as investing. Like I said, to me, investing is where you buy something and you walk away, and you're not really looking at it, and it's going to generate a dividend or some type of interest rate return of some form. It's going to give you something without you having to work for it, pay attention to it, and value. So, Ferris, how you doing there? And so that's my answer to your GBP. So now you can see here GBP has been in a buy for a while. We're in a daily sell. We closed in the daily buy yesterday, so you could be long right from the close of there. And we're in a weekly buy. And then what it does is, where does it do? It closes at 132.46, and it runs to today's high is 132.97. So it's like 50 some odd pips. So yeah, you can make some money. I'm not even sure if you're really looking for a week. When you're trading for gains that are not generated, like I said, by a dividend or like an option spread that's generating a decay rate that has like a synthetic bond characteristic, I don't really look at it as investing. Or the opposite, you're buying GBP and you're going to hold on to it for possibly weeks and months. Investing to me is more of a long lethargic adventure. That sound okay, AR? All right, now, let me put my glasses on. This is Eshron Foe. Okay. How about if we call you EP? Eshan, how you doing? Hi, sorry, can you tell me what is the Excel file about? The Excel file is a fact check sheet. Let's go through that. So the way it works is, in the case of, we can just look at anything on here. A good example is the Turkish lira at the moment. It's 50 weeks in a buy. You see right here it says WB, weekly buy, weekly sell right there. Okay, you see that WB, WS, and then this column has numbers. Let's do this, and we'll highlight this whole thing there. Let's go all the way down. Let's party all out there. Okay, so now, and let's stretch it up too. Maybe what we can do is try to make it taller so you can see more of it, like that. All right, so now what you see is, like in the case of here, like corn, it's been in a weekly buy for 14 weeks. Soybeans has been in a buy for 12 weeks. Wheat, 13 weeks. In our mathematics, in other words, in our algorithm says, hey, guess what? It's in a buy 1 full week. Then it goes 2 weeks and 3. It keeps on reconfirming each week the trend that it's in. So you're able to look at the fact check spreadsheet, and obviously this is all recorded, and so nothing can be altered. So this is basically fact. Now, every so often we kind of accidentally hit a wrong number in there. We put, like yesterday, I think it was somehow or another we had like a buy, 2 ones in like crude and gold, when in fact we weren't even remotely close to it. But and then we put them back in again during the webinar there. And so that's what that is. And this is a daily over here, showing you the daily trend right there. And what we like in the end result is that when we want, if you're in a weekly sell and a daily sell, it's safer to be short. But if you're in a weekly sell and a daily buy, it means to be neutral, to do nothing. Okay. I hope that helps out with the spreadsheet. We can give you more information, and you can ask more questions about that too at the same time. All right, now Ferris. Finally, Ferris. Hey, what's happening? Still short in gold. Are you now? I think it's down, isn't it? And you can see also on the fact check spreadsheet. Actually, you're fighting that one. You're in a weekly buy and a daily sell, so it's a neutral. So you're a brave soul, a very brave soul. That's good. When trading options in this product, it's a lot easier to take that position. When you're trading just the gold itself, it can be a little bit tougher. Let's take a look at it right there. And as you can see, we went into the sell way back here. It's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago. And you can see we are higher than when it went into the sell. You know, it might have gone into the sell halfway through this bar, but in the end result, that day it confirmed the sell. And so that was that pandemic remedy, you know, vaccine, and it's kind of locked this stuff into a dead zone, really trapped in I guess about a $50 range or $40 range there. We also at the same time jumped into a weekly buy. We were above the weekly buy number, right, like on the first day of the week out of that, and it closed and confirmed that week. So we're in a weekly buy here, you know, basically from this week. We're in a sell there. It's totally neutral. It doesn't have any real clarity, and luckily it's going down in value still for you because we're on the shorter term. As you can see on the spreadsheet, we are 7 days. Where it is right there, 7 days in a sell. So, you know, that's a real tough trade there. And silver seems to be doing somewhat of the same game, I think. Let's see now. First says, protected the rest of my position with a tighter stop loss. Good. And take a little profit. That's what we've been suggesting to you the last couple of days on that. I think that's good money management skills. I think that's a very good money management skills. AAR, no problem at all. And you have more questions. You're allowed to ask as many as you want in the questions around here. We'll just keep on rolling. So, Yerb Z. I like that. Yerb Z. Cool. Sound went off. My sound is off. Can you hear me now? I hear me now. Or is it just me? You never know. Technology. Who knows with technology, Yerb B. I get it. So, thank you for giving us a heads up. I'll raise my volume to see if I can hear it. Nope, I hear me. So I'm back up again, I think. Just you, Ferris says. And Ashan Foe. Okay. Now, excellent. And that's what we do. We document. We've been doing this for a long time. Matter of fact, when I first started doing the Dukascopy webinars, we used to refer to it as algo wars. I was hoping to challenge other technicians, you know, in an open forum live, but that didn't seem to work out. So then we started using some exotics. We used to have some really interesting indicators. So I haven't used them in years, where we used to run commodities against currencies because, you know, when quantitative easing started to get going, we could see that dollar-denominated major products became surrogates for currency. So, you know, we've been playing around with all kinds of different ways. As I take a grape into my mouth, I'm being a little piggly wiggly during this webinar here, and sipping some tea at the same time. Not with a doily on my lap. Okay. So, that's how we run this whole thing. We try to open it. It's always live. It's always open to scrutiny. We never hide our mistakes. And we try not to pat our back too hard for our successes, since our successes are way ahead of our mistakes. So that's always cool. Doc, if the dollar were to fall, where could one invest? Boy, that's like, you know, they used to have a TV show like the $60,000 question. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I'm comfortable with cryptos. I'm comfortable with the metals. You know, I think they're good surrogates to the dollar at times. Do I really expect to see the dollar fall? Why? You know, in other words, you got to remember, when the dollar falls, something else goes up. Okay? So let's go to, you know, just a currency, any currency. I like looking at the Swiss as a good surrogate to the dollar. So let's go there. Now, here's the Swiss. All right, and you can see like the dollar fell about 10 days ago. Let's see, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, 11 days back, it started to fall. Okay, the dollar fell, and that meant that the value of the Swiss franc became greater, and the dollar went down in value. And then I think that was on that spike of the vaccine right here. That's big giant bar. The dollar went roaring up uh, on the news of the vaccine, and it's been firm. There's more vaccines and so forth. I think it's a very esoteric question, and I love being theoretical, so I don't have a problem answering it. I'm trying to make it understandable to everybody. When the dollar, if the dollar collapsed, you know how people say, "Oh my God, the dollar is going to collapse. Buy gold." You see the TV commercials all the time. Buy metals, so forth and so on. I think that there's only a limit that the dollar can collapse. In other words, I don't think the dollar can collapse totally unless the United States actually would fall apart altogether, and I don't see that happening. So, um, I don't think you're going to get a collapse of a dollar. I think you'll see selling in the dollar. The dollar can be weaker. I think there's always every country likes to have their currency a little bit cheaper so that it enhances export. I think that those are the real realities, but a collapse. And did you use the word collapse, or is it me being whack? Let's see. If the dollar were to fall, okay. Well, the dollar falling, I'm being a little dramatizing. I think that's me being being dramatic. Falling, yeah. I think that the dollar, you just trade other pairs. Falling dollar is one thing. A collapsing dollar is another. I'm not sure why I said collapse. Maybe I was sipping my tea too fast. I did something wrong there. So no, there is no collapse. Okay, you didn't say collapse. So I would say just in general that it's going to be an ebb and flow. I don't think it's going to be a dollar that's going one direction, down, down, and down. I just don't see that. I see a world that's way too weak to compensate for a falling dollar. I think the dollar is going to have some strength in it constantly. I think there are going to be times where it's going down. I think there's going to be times where it's going back up. When you look at the dollar overall, let's say we squeeze the this chart here, and we can take a look at it on J4X too. You squeeze the chart here, and that we have it on a weekly basis right there. Obviously, the dollar has been falling down since the middle of 2019, and you can see it there. But when you really squeeze it up, and this is a weekly chart going back to 2015, what it is it's ebb and flowing, really. You see how that's going on J4X? It's just ebb and flowing. And then look at that low. That was a legit low. That actually happened. I mean, I remember that. We were in a weekly sell. That was wild. And I can tell you why that happened. They had disconnected the Swiss franc or the Swiss saltine from the euro, and it collapsed there. But it came back, and we went into a daily buy like a day later, and we were like bullish from way down in here, and so forth and so on. Let me see if we can pull it over. I mean, like literally, this is the weekly chart. I mean, we went into a weekly buy that week. Our math caught that bottom perfectly. Caught the top pretty well too. I don't really see, and when you scrunch this up, and this is a weekly chart, what are you really seeing there? When we really scrunch it up and we move it all the way over, what you're seeing is one big, massive sideways trend. That's all it really is. So it's not really falling, it's just ebbing and flowing. I think that makes more sense to me. Does that make any sense to you, AR? And so when it comes to the investments, it's safe to be involved in lots of different products. Commodities, cryptos, stocks, there's all kinds of opportunity. Let's see. Ashan says, I just want to send a quick feedback. If that's okay, it would be great if remove the 14 days limit for demo accounts. I'm not really sure what we're talking about there. 14 day. Oh, I see what you're saying. They're closed today. I will talk to them about that. Yeah, I'll give them some info on that about that, and you can we can when the office is open tomorrow, you can communicate with somebody about that. AR says so. It's possible to invest in crypto, silver, and gold. Oh, without a doubt, because I don't think it's going to be. I think that's why I went on that crazy collapse point of view. When I see someone ask about falling dollar, sometimes it's kind of insinuates like there's you see the TV commercials where they're advertising the dollar is going to collapse and the only safe investment will be like gold coins or silver coins or something like that. You can see where what was it Citibank yesterday. I think Daniel will come in when Daniel comes in today into the webinar. Like Citibank had come out with Daniel 2 weeks ago was talking about a crypto, the Bitcoin being $100,000 a coin in say the next 3 to 5 years or something like that, or 2 years or 1 year, something like that. And then about a week later, someone at Citibank, one of the analysts there, said he could see uh, Bitcoin up to $319,000 over the next 5 years. So let's see. Let's see. Let's go. Let me see if we can relate to this question here. So that's where I got that stuff about the collapse in my head. I share. I say, hey, AR. I share. Yeah, it is perfect. Yeah, like in 2008. Now, like in 2008, the stock market collapsed. The world collapsed, and that collapse in 2008, which is a really good, interesting point to bring up too. AR. It's a good idea. Is that the world collapsed in 2008? In other words, we lost Lloyd's of London. We lost basically we lost Deutsche Bank. We lost Merrill Lynch. We lost Lehman. Actually went bankrupt itself physically. The others were just sold off and propped up. So Lloyd's of London now is owned by the Exchequer. Citibank is pretty much owned by Federal Reserve in the United States. Let me think. Deutsche Bank is owned by the Federal German, institution, the government bank itself, their central bank. Bank of Scotland is gone the same way. It's owned by the Exchequer. HSBC, let's see, Santander. We can go on that whole list. Probably myself as an old trader, it's still hard to believe that they lost Lloyd's of London. It's amazing. Lloyd's of London was like the Rock of Gibraltar. It was like the gold standard. It was a combination of an insurance corporation and an insurance exchange where they traded insurance policies. They insured satellites going up into the sky and diversified things. And now they're owned by the Exchequer at this point. 2008, the world got wiped out, and with it, made actually the American currency and the American country more powerful financially, which was really weird, because the epicenter of it was here. And but what happened was the global market had joined in. So if it had happened the same way 40 years earlier or 50 years earlier, the American nation may have not been so powerful anymore. We may have moved into a different category. But the whole planet became Americanized in a sense. And so when I guess what they used to say back in the old days, they used to say when I was a kid on the trading floors, they used to say when America catches a cold, no, it was when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. Okay? So in other words, when America had a problem, the world had a lot of a problem. So and so in 2007, 2008, when the collateralized debt obligation market collapsed, our Democrats were giving away free money, thinking it was free, and the end result is it wasn't for free, and they bankrupt everybody from it. Something you never hear an honest conversation about. It's amazing. The media does its best to hide the facts. So, I am eating a grape and sipping some tea again. So, sorry, traders, if you hear me munching away there. the collateralized debt obligation market collapsed the world economy. And so now, like, Japan has way more debt percentage wise than the United States or even Greece. Um, China is the same way. Um, a lot of countries are that way. Germany and so forth. Their their debt to GDP ratio is incredibly wide, just incredibly wide. So, IVB, how you doing? Que pasa? We're having a fun-filled day here. It's Happy to Hump Day. The rapid growth and popularity of the China-led Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank shows that Beijing's regional and global impact is increasing and that the world order is changing. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because you can see there was an article. Let me show. I found it. I saw an article last night. It was challenging the growth of China altogether, and you can see their problems that they're having. If that was true, what you just posted, then they would have been able to do those IPOs and so forth over the last couple of weeks. They've had to back away from a lot of things. They're having financial. Let me see if I can find some of these articles we're talking about here. I'm going to find them and I'm going to throw them up on the screen so you'll be able to see them. And it basically says the opposite of that posting that you did. I think China is better off than what it used to be, because they've moved a little bit more towards what they call, crony capitalism, or, like a semi-fascist capitalism type of thing. But overall, China is not doing too well. They're more like a colony of the United States, and so we were plowing a ton of money into China. And then what happened was that once Mr. Trump, saw all this when he became president, saw how much there was a collapse in our economy over it. He backed us away from it, and you can see the pressure that's been put on. Here's an interesting headline. I'm going to throw this one up to start off with. But I saw this last night. I thought it was interesting. There was a couple of very big articles. China's the president for life. World economy in worst recession since Great Depression. They just signed a deal 2 days ago. But at the same time, he sees it. Here it is. Despite all this, we remain convinced that the theme of our times, peace and development, has not changed. He's talking about global economies here. And then, let me see if I can find another article, and I'm going to just put a chart back up there for you until we get there, because I'm just roaming through this stuff. Let's see, is it there? There, no, not there. It's there. There we go. There we go. And so let me find the next article. There was an interesting one that challenged the GDP no more than 24 hours ago of China, and gave examples of why the GDP has less validity than people realize. Also, they tried to do the largest IPO in history about a week ago, and they had to back off. And also on Monday, I think I was showing that they have a $900 billion financial squeeze going on at the moment. So let me see if I can find that. I have these all bookmarked, so I'll go back and find it, because I use them as references when people want to understand the reason why I'm explaining this is how to put China in a category for investing. In other words, how do you invest in China? What's the success and failure and so forth. And so that's the reason why I'm following through on this subject matter at the moment. And that is because it's not as pleasurable as you would think. Now I'm going to find these articles and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And it's I have them bookmarked, so it won't. It's just going to take another minute or two for me to find it. But it's definitely it's when you're looking to try to find. Oh, here we go. Here's one of them. Okay, here it comes. We're gonna. It's called and it has really interesting stats. Let's see if we can find it here. There we go. Is there really a China economic miracle? And you can see here, it goes through. There's the author. the year 2020, they look into it. Morgan Stanley, there's a lot of different things, and they're looking at GDP will fall 2.2% in the fourth quarter, and they take things apart like that. And then you can see here, they put a chart up here, manufacturing PMI, how it rose and fell, over the last 10 years, I guess it is, and you can see that. When the United States, this is when Trump starts to really, this is the co-vote thing, and it jacked it back up again. But you can see the rhythm of it is not it's not like a rocket taking off. It's doing the opposite. You can see some strength in there and so forth. But it's a very good article. It shows it. And then there's another one. Let me put the chart back up so you don't have to see me scrolling through tons of my junk. There's another one where the IPO had to, in the beginning of the week, I guess it is. Let me find that one. We'll find that. They say on Sunday night they put this article out and it kind of slowly disappeared really quick on Sunday night. Let's see if we can find it here. I know it's around here. I'm heading there now. I'm just scrolling through my stuff, and it shows it's the MLF. I think it is the medium, or I guess it's a lending structure they have in China. Here's the blockchain back off of 2 days ago right there. Let's show you that one. So China's biggest bank pulls massive blockchain-backed bond issue as defaults build. I think they're falling into a $900 billion debt at the moment. This is over the last 3 days. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for them. I mean, when you have a fixed currency to where it's at, their GDP makes it look like, it's like about, it's $6 trillion, something like that. We're like 13 trillion in the United States. So, but if you allowed the Chinese yuan to float, their GDP may be just a little bit bigger than, say, Japan or Germany. So you see what I'm saying there? I'm not. I guess I've gone through a magical mystery tour there of stuff. Let me see if let me get back up there so you can see that headline again. So, and this is also in a zero hedge. It came out Sunday night. And that shows the construction bank. There's another one, MLF. That blends into this article. Where they're having short-term loans coming due, and they've got to roll them. And $900 billion worth of short-term loans in China is very hard. It's not easy for them to roll. That's why they've been pulling things like the IPOs and so forth. So that's why I'm saying I don't really see them growing. I only see them just kind of like the way we looked at the dollar against the Swiss franc here. I just see China going sideways at the moment. I don't see China doing anything more than that. And I actually have to say I think the slope is down, not up. That's the problem. So I hope that answered that question about the rapid growth. I don't see rapid growth. So let's see. Ferris says, AR, how about you could buy real estate? That's tough to do in China. Very tough. China has an inherent disadvantage. It's sitting on a delicate political system that could blow up anytime. That is true. Like I said, it functions through like a crony capitalism or like some type of fascism. So, and that's why Trump pulled us away from them. We were putting $400 to $500 billion a year into them. We were buying. Now we're only spending, say, $200 billion a year, and that's why their economy has dropped dramatically. Germany, France, and Italy turned their backs on the U.S. to join Bank of China. I don't know much about that, but I mean, as I understand, the Chinese currency is only 1% of world trade. So I'm not sure. It'd be different if, let's say, all of a sudden the Chinese currency went to 30% of world trade. But it's not. It's only 1%. Even it's a little bit less at the moment. So I'd be careful about investing. Now, I saw that there was a good story. There was a good story about China. I want to say it was Sunday or Friday of last week where they had signed this trade deal with 15 countries in Asia. Which is positive. So I didn't really read the trade deal. I didn't really pay attention to it too much because, like I said, I don't really take China that serious because you can't really invest there. It's very hard to invest there. They'll you can buy there really easy. It's just really hard to own anything there. So that's why I say they're almost like an American colony. We buy their manufactured goods. They're our number one trading place. We were buying $400-500 billion a year, and they were growing from it. Now that we've knocked ourselves down to about only 40% of what we were spending there, then all of a sudden China is having problems financially. If they were really that strong, they would have, when we went from 400 billion a year from them on average to 200 billion a year on average, they would have just shrugged it off and it wouldn't have been a problem. But you can see it's been a major problem. So that tells us that it's a very tough place to try to invest in. So, I think I've answered a generality, and I don't want to be beating up on China. I never really am trying. I'm just trying to show you that it's not easy to invest in China and get your return back out of China. It's very easy to buy in China, to buy goods and export them. But you can't buy a business there and then try to control it. The Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, doesn't let you get away with that too easily. So, and that's pretty much where we're at. But I agree with Ferris. It is a recipe for disaster. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that at all. So, let's see. Did I miss anybody at all? I think I've answered all the questions here. And we'll just, keep on rolling along there. Let's see. Where did we leave off? So we're kind of using the Swiss dollar pairs trade as an example of what the dollar is doing. And you can see here, it's a sideways action over the last decade, really. It's really sideways. It's not really collapsing. It's not rising. It's kind of just ebb and flowing. I think that's the best way to describe that. All right, let's jump over to where should we go? Anybody want to see anything? We can take a look at. We looked at gold a few seconds ago, didn't we? Let's go back to that again. We can go through the commodities, and we can go take a look at what's going on there. There's silver. You can see silver trying to break down. We went into a sell yesterday. It's a little weaker there, but you can see we've been in a weekly buy for 2 weeks, so it's kind of trapped in that neutral stance, We'll give it a refresh and take a look at it again like that. But and now we're getting a double dot out of it at the moment. We'll see if that closes. That's usually a sign of some type of volatility to come. So we'll just save that data there because I got to save it for Robin anyway. And then we've got the Nasdaq, which is the Tech 100 that the Dukascopy has. Hey, Middle Age, how you doing? And let's see what we got going on there. Middle Age says, could you look at March wheat, and it appears soybeans is going to land on the moon. Yeah, you know what? And it looks like we might have gone into a daily sell yesterday, and it's already back into the daily buy. I'll show you that. Let me save this, and we'll take a look at that. I agree with you. I think that's the Chinese. That's back to that Chinese conversation. Supposedly they're having major food shortages, and because of that, they're buying a lot of our grains, and so that is driving our commodities higher. Now I think our wheat is trying to go into a sell at the moment, but the beans and corn they've refused to back off. So let's take a look at them again right here. There we go. And that's corn. But look at soybeans. They slid into a sell there yesterday. Last night. Finally fell into a sell. They must have updated it overnight and came in and I saw it's in a sell. But look at it. It's already piercing the buy number again. We're in a weekly buy anyway. It's been in a weekly buy for a while now. What is it on the spreadsheet? What's that, 12 weeks? You can see it right there. Soybeans have been in a buy for 12 full weeks now. So, You can't really short it. You can only take a profit from it. You know, when you see those things, like it went into the buy here at the, what is that, like the one, was it 1086, was it? Something like that. Let's see, 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Yeah, so right there, 1086, and actually, yeah, I just missed it. Boy, that would have been nice there, but 1086, and then now it's trading at 1178. So yeah, big dollar up. That's pretty powerful. So now let's take a look at wheat. Wheat is doing some whack. You know, there's the December wheat. You can see here, that's holding up well, but the weekly is trying to play with itself at the moment, as you can see there. Now, when we go and look at the March wheat, right there, that's doing the same thing. It's trying to break down, and the daily is trying to hold up. So, I don't know, what's that, 13? Yeah, I think it's 13. There's right there, line 4. So we're 13 weeks in a buy when it comes to wheat. So we can go like this way. There we go. So it gets lit up like that. So you can see that there on line 4. So wheat, it appears soybeans is going to land on the moon. I know. It is fascinating to see it. Like I said, I think it's China more than anything else. They've been warning everybody that they're running out of food. Again, that goes up with AR in the conversation. You can't be a world, the number one world, the number one economy in the world, and run out of food at the same time. Yeah, that's not logical. That says, let's put it this way: Europe is able to feed its population much easier than China is, and so I think what Europe is on a quarter of the size of land, and has half the size of the population. And so, you got to be able to feed your people and export food at the same time, like the United States does. The Dow Jones. The Dow, let's take a look at the Dow. Let's see if we can open something up for you. This is the chart I put out over the weekends all the time. I've been charting the Dow since the late 1970s. I do a paper chart on it every day. And I bleed it into an electronic chart here. Right there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And so what I do is I measure inside and outside days on a theoretical basis. Now this is the futures contract, this is not the cash. You can see we've been in a weekly sell for a week now, and we're still underneath it, and this thing keeps on trying to climb up. We've been in a daily buy since 3 days back now. I guess it is 2 days back. This is the third day. Overall, I don't know how else to say it. I guess is that it's an old index of the old companies with the new ones in there, and you see this new wave signal. Every time we get one of those, it's like a corner. Like you're walking down a street and you come to a intersection. Something always changes in direction. Last time it was here, this time it's there. Sometimes in major moves we've had 3 or 4 new wave signals for 3 or 4 weeks straight, and we get some massive moves in the market. Right now, I have to say it's tangled because of the geopolitical situation in the United States. Right now, the media is trying to make what's his name, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And so I think the smart money knows that it's not going to happen, because I can't even imagine the market being up this firm if Biden was going to win. So I think that the Dow, after the election's over with, it'll be more clear sailing and understanding, I would assume. But as far as I can tell, my speculative opinion is that the Dow will follow this Trump. If Trump is president, it goes up in value, and if Biden, I just don't see it. I just don't see Biden getting elected. So there's way too many problems, and they're just not reporting them. So what will happen is that more than likely the Dow will go up because I believe Trump is going to be president of the United States. So the math all seems to point in that direction. And so that's where we're kind of with that situation there. And you can see it. I think oil kind of moves in the same direction of it too. When you look at oil, like here's the S&P 500. and you can see the S&P 500 has been in a buy for 3 full days, and it's a little bit smoother than the Dow. You can see we're in 1 week in a sell, and it's battling with it again this week too. Again, I think money is standing to the side for 2 reasons. One is the election, and 2 is no resolution in the election yet, and I think they ended a year. We have end of the year issues where companies are trying to take profits, lock in profits, and I think that's what you see there. Now here's Deck Oil. Oh, look, see, now it's playing with we've got a volatility thing building, and the thing has jumped into a daily buy area, but we're still in weekly sells for since here. So we've really gone almost nowhere. We went down with the sell, and now we went to a buy here, and then we had the pandemic leap, and that shows you when the pandemic is cured, oil is obviously going to take off with it, and I think the Dow will do the same thing. And now, okay, so now the red dot is gone at the moment. So what we're going to be doing here is that it looks like they're starting to kick in strength. I believe that the oil market and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is going to piggyback on Mr. Trump being elected, and I think that's how it plays out in the end. So I hope that helps you out with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and that's pretty much where it stands. And then there's our gold situation, and imagine the weakness in gold is because they don't see Biden becoming president. Because I can't imagine gold not being really, really strong if Biden had a chance of winning the presidency. I would think that we'd be seeing gold extremely strong. And we're not really seeing that. And then obviously this is the pandemic again. The cure, it could be more of the cure than it is Biden. But you can see we're in a weekly buy. It's trying, but we're in daily sells. So it's keeping us in a neutral stance because the markets don't have any clarity. And our math is a consciousness. It reads the nature of the market's anticipation or its desire, I guess you could say, its direction. And so our work is very fascinating in that fashion. Sometimes I look at my work and it goes, it's in a buy. What the hell's coming around the corner? What's making it being in a buy? I don't see any good news, And then sure enough, the thing takes off. And it always amazes me how the math is able to pick up that event occurring. And it does it at an 8.5 out of 10 ratio, which is pretty wild. That's pretty high percentage to be able to anticipate future events. It's very odd. I find it. I've been following my math that I invented for over 40 years, and it blows my mind every day. Every day, it blows my mind. I just like here, I was like, well, why are we getting into this daily sell with the weekly sell? And the next day they collapsed natural gas. So it is amazing how it picks that. It's sensitive to the internal movement of moving objects, and we treat currencies and stocks and as a moving object. So we're measuring it on a surface, a 4-dimensional fractal surface. So it is amazing. It's like we're looking down the road and seeing what's going on, which is, like I said, it blows my mind every day. I'm like totally excited about it. So, all right. Anybody want to see anything else? We'll just keep on looking at the commodities here. We've seen the currencies. Actually, did everybody get enough of the currencies? We can go back to currency if you want to see a particular currency. Because we're really trying to view the dollar. You can see Robo. This is the fuel for the automobiles. You can see it's trying to lift up, but again, it's like oil. It's been in a sell, 5 or 4 full weeks back. This is the 5th week now. So it's hard to say where we're going to end up with. I think all this, I think Robo will go up in value. It'll follow Trump. I really do. I think all this stuff is going to follow Trump, the commodities, and I think the metals could, to some extent. You got to assume with Trump as the president, we're going to have a very growing economy and a more global growing economy. And so you got to assume at the same time that what will probably happen is that inflation will kind of be a part of the conversation. I don't see inflation as a very powerful tool at the moment, solely because the central banks seem to have all the currency pairs really under control. And we've talked about this for, since quantitative easing in 2008 and 9. And what really is amazing is that inflation has not been able to come back. The old-fashioned inflation is just not doing that good a job. Now this is the Russell 2000. What we're looking at right there. This is the low caps. Very small companies. It's like the old Nasdaq, what the Tech 100 is on Dukascopy, of old, not new, because now the Tech 100 on Dukascopy is the Nasdaq 100, and that thing is something like, it's got some of the best companies. It has the biggest companies in the world in it now, compared to, they used to be small little companies. So now, the Tech 100 has Microsoft and Apple and, Apple Computer and Amazon and Cisco Systems and Intel and let me think who else is in there. Google and Facebook and Tesla and Navarra, the largest, I guess, manufacturer of chips. And it's like, it has the best of the companies of the modern economy. So it's not like the Russell 2000, in a sense, is the speculative index. And I think, 7 or 8 of those stocks, or 6 or 7 of them, are in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is incredible. Is it, let's see, AR says, Doc, is it possible for silver to go up? We put an article out on Friday. It looked like it was trying to take off again. Let's go back and take a look at that. So, it does. It has the ability to go up, but it hasn't. We keep on getting signals. We caught it when it ran from $11 to $29. We read that really well. And so, our math really picked up on it. Let's go back to silver there. But you can see, since it made that intermediate high, it right here, which was like a 10-year high right there, 8-year high or something like that. It's pretty much just been one big ABC, kind of stalled out like that. Matter of fact, you can see it right there. And when we go to J4X on the weekly, right there, here's the weekly chart on J4X. We put an article out last Friday. You can see the thing is way off its all-time highs here. Back in 2012 and so forth, where it got up to almost $50 an ounce. We, like we said last Thursday, we went into a daily buy. We're in a weekly buy, and it went up about, I don't know, 40 cents, 50 cents. That's all it did, and then it's starting to roll over again. Now, yesterday it went into a sell there again, but we're in a weekly buy, and it's hitting the top of the time manifold. It's really hard at the moment. It's going sideways. Like I said, let's see, but Nasdaq is going down. Well, Nasdaq playing with its all-time highs. Let's go back to that right there. You can see there, this is the Nasdaq, and when we contract it, there's all-time highs right there. So it's flirted with it. There's a couple things, and let's take a look at it here on J4X on a weekly. Right there it is. U.S. Tech 100 Index. That's the Nasdaq. There it is. Now you can see, let's make that the whole page, or the whole screen, and we can widen that out. You can see basically, it goes up and down, and we're looking at hinky-ashy bars. They're not, they're a lagging type of structure, but overall, they're at all-time high area. You see what I'm saying? So you really can't say it's going down. It's just that it's, on the edge. It has that ability. See what I'm saying? And so you can see it here. We're in a weekly buy for 2 full weeks, but it's not really taking off anywhere particular. Now, there was a high of 12,260. And there's the high of, it broke that high, but it did not break the all-time high of 12,420. So Boy, you guys have been great today. I love answering questions and looking at new ideas. Oh my God. I love trying to find the answer for you because I learn from it. It gives me trades at times. You know, when traders ask questions, it opens the doorway for all of us to be proactive, not reactive. Remember, we're not on trading floors anymore or trading desks. So we can't be reactive. We got to be proactive. And we need people who throw ideas out there for us to explore ideas. When we explore the ideas, we may find by exploring ideas that everybody's asking about, we all find an opportunity or a trade. And that's the key right there. So let's see, where did I leave off? I did Bitcoin. So I just want to do copper. There it is there. There's copper. I found copper to be interesting. The industrial metal trying to push itself into a buy. Look at it. It's right on the edge. It's right there. It was a green dot. It's trying. You can see we're in a weekly buy. And we're really starting to wonder if this thing is going to find a way to get into the daily buy there. We'll see. So we're watching that today. You know, I mean, I would imagine that will piggyback on the Trump affirmation that he's president, you know. And that's how this whole thing's going to play out in the end. And then, you know, this is the Dow. And the Dow, okay, so now we can pull that out of there because that's trying to lift up again. Last night that was a red dot and the lines were moving back down. Now they're cleanly through. Let's refresh that like that. And so you can see this thing is still trying to stay firm and try to lift. It gave us a little volatility signal, but it's not able to break down. But see, we're trapped. So it's a neutral position in these stock indices. You know, they're all four of them are in daily buys, and at the same time they're playing with weekly sells. You know, and so that just shows you that there's not a lot of confidence in the market on the longer term by, you know, week to week basis versus the daily. So is it possible to invest in NAS right now? Oh sure, you can buy calls in it and, you know, bull spreads, and you can buy Qs and they pay a dividend. Oh yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. QQQ is a way of collecting the dividend and being long the appreciation at the same time. So, so yeah, there's all kinds of opportunities. And I guess we're going to get out of here. So anyway, it's been great that you guys have been asking the questions. It's been a really good day. I love it because it gives us a chance to really explore ideas, and all of us get an opportunity to figure something out. So this is Doc from North America. Happy to Hump Day. And for our friends in Rega, happy holidays, and we will catch you on the flip side. So this is Doc from North America saying arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you